Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. For this particular session, we'll be completing the second part of service to service calls and doing load balancing at the same time for our REST clients. So from our previous session, we did see how the employee service is able to refer to the URL of the department service, and in this case we are using localhost 881. Now we need to understand the mechanism of deploying the services without the knowledge of the port information, so that we can be able to guide ourselves from different port change. Now from our previous session, you did see that I'm going to demonstrate by changing the department service to run on port 882. In this case, now it will mean that if the employee service YAML file is still referring to port 881, then what would happen is that this particular endpoint won't be available. So let me start all the services, and then we confirm that everything is okay before we proceed to the next bit. All right. So let me quickly start we start sequentially by starting the configuration server. So in this case, I'm going just to open that in the terminal, and I'm going just to run maven clean spring boot run. Then the next thing that we're going to do is going to be the discovery server, so that you can be able to register the other components. So I'm going just to open this one in the new terminal, and at the same time do the same thing of maven clean spring boot run. And then thirdly, I'm going to start the API gateway. Right, so I'm going just to have the API gateway running. So I'm going just to do the same thing, maven clean spring boot run. Right, then from there I'm going to proceed to the department service and run the department service using the same command. In this case, we are going to have maven clean spring boot run. Then lastly, we are going to run our employee service to have that started. So I'm going just to make use of the same command again also and run the services. So let's just start confirming our first service if it's running. So our configuration server is taking more time to start, but then I think I can just give it a few minutes to run. Alright, so all the services have started. Now you can confirm that the discovery server is running, and now you can see that the demo configuration server is running, the API gateway is running, and then we have the department service is running, and now you can see that it's running on port 882. And then we have the other service, which is the employee service running on port 880. Now let's just confirm that all the services have registered under Eureka localhost 8761. So we're going to check the values, so you can see that all the services are up and running. Now the next thing that we need to do is now make the call for the employee service, in that we have just made the change for to get employees with the department and see what is going to be the effect of that. So I'm going just to go to this particular REST endpoint. Let me just confirm that I'm able to get the list of employees correctly. As you can see, I'm able to get the list of employees, but then if I'm trying to get the list of employee with the department information, you'll be able to see that it's failing to connect to this particular port. Alright, that's because we are making use of hard-coded ports information within our service. So what I'm going to do ideally is going to be very simple to show you how then can we be able to make use of the different service calls with using the discovery service. So in this case, we go to the service level and where we are making the call. Alright, so I'm going to, you see this department host URL is the one that we are making reference to. So as you can see, ideally I need to make the change on the config repo level, right? So within employee service, now instead of making the hard-coded host name, we are going to make use of the name of the service, right? And the name of the service, we are going to get it from the discovery service. So in this case, you can see that we need to make the call to the department service. So whenever we make that call to this department service, that is what we are going to specify here. And then with that, all the services now, the employee service will be able to know that whenever I want to make this call, I need to make the call to the department service. So I'm going to again restart the services quickly so that you can be able to see what is going to happen whenever we do that. So let me just commit this code and push it for the change. So git commit, and in this case we are going to say rest client call by service name, right? So you're going to make use of service name to make the call, right? So I'm going just to push this one, right? So let me confirm that I'm going just to push, and now let me confirm what is the values which are linked to the employee service. And in this case you're going to go to localhost 888. So I'm going just to search for 888 employee service /default. I want to see whether it has been able to refresh the configurations. As you can see, automatically by me making the change on the config server, you can see that it has been able to fetch the new configuration. Those are the configurations which are available on the config server. And now if I try to make the call now to the department service and make this call once again, you'll be able to see still it's referring to the department service. All I'm going to do is just quickly restart make a small change on the department service to trigger a restart. So I'm just going to introduce some space here just to trigger a restart, right? So we just introduce some space there and save, and we'll be able to trigger a restart for the employee service, so that it can be able to fetch now the new configurations. And in this case, you can see that it's been able to fetch the configurations from the config server. And now if we try to wait and check on the Eureka and check that the employee service is actually registered once again. Now let's try to make the call once more. So I'm going just to make that call. You'll be able to see now we land ourselves into no such host unknown, and then at the same time if I make another call, you can see that it's having an IO error to post request. Now here is where we are going to see how then can we ensure that we are able to make the call as we were making it before. So what we are going to do is go to the documentation here. I'm going just to take you through and go to REST client. So I'm going just to go to search for Spring REST client. So I'm going to just search for this Spring REST client, and you can see that REST clients are here. Now what you're going to do is that we need to load balance we wanted to search for Spring Cloud. Spring Cloud. So let's just search for Spring Cloud. And now what you will understand is that whenever you're making service to service calls, load balancing of the services becomes evident. Right? So we need to introduce load balancing for our clients. So looking at this, let's see now, let's review the implementation of the department service and how we have the various services coming through. So the first service that we are making use of is the REST client, right? So you're making use of the REST client to get the employees with the department service. So what we're going to do here is introduce a simple within the REST client, we are going to ensure that this particular REST client is actually load balanced. And how do you then load balance the REST client or your web client or the REST template within the configuration? So if you check on the config folder of the REST client section, you'll be able to see that here we are just generating the beans of the actual clients. And in this case, you can see that you have the REST client, REST template, web client. Now we are going to make a small change here whereby we are going to introduce the builder so that we can be able to build the client at that particular point we are making use of it, right? And instead of having a client which is a bin, we are going to get a web client builder, a REST client builder, and a REST template load balanced. So what we're going to do is the first thing that we're going to do is change the type. Of this case, we are going to return REST client.builder. So we are going to return an instance of REST client.builder. And I'm going just to introduce the function name to be REST client builder. Now instead of building now, I'm going just to return the build. So I'm going to remove that, and we'll be able to have a REST client builder. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to the employee service where I'm making use of the injection. I'm going just to also inject a bin which is of REST client dot builder. That is what I'm going to introduce here. So it's going to be builder that way. And now the next thing that we need to do is to ensure that the same is actually supplied within the arguments. So I'm going to copy this and have it within REST client. Instead of REST client, I'm going just to have the REST client builder, and I need to ensure that it's assigned the value. Alright. So with that change, we are in again now. You see that now this one we need to build the client. So in this case, I'm going just to have the REST client builder dot build. Right? So at this point is where I'm going to make use of the build function. And then going down here, you can see also we have another instance of the same. So it's going to be REST client builder dot build. That's the few adjustments that we have made here. Now let's restart the service and confirm that everything is okay first, before we proceed to do the load balancing. Now let's try to see whether at this point it will be able to make the call. Alright, so in this case, I may just to restart the service completely, shut it down, and then restart it. Alright, so once I restart this service, you'll be able to see that we should be able to make the call, but then the call won't go out successfully because it's going to just obtain a single IP and make use of it. Alright, so we need to ensure that we are able to load balance the builder. Right, so that whenever we're creating a client, we are able to be given a client which can be able to connect to the service. Alright, so our service is up and running. Now let's just confirm it is registered on Eureka. So I might just confirm that the status is up, and you can see that it's been able to register itself, and you can see that everything is okay. Now let's just try to make the call to get the list of employees. You'll be able to see this one, the service is not yet ready to receive traffic. I'm going to give it a few minutes. Now you can see that now it's able to get us the information. Now let me try to send the request with the employees. And in this case, you'll be able to see now we have another issue. It's getting the department service once again. Alright. We are still experiencing the same issue. Now what we are going to do is that we need to introduce the load balancing of the web clients. So in this case, what we are going to do is go to this one, and below the at bin annotation, I'm going to introduce at load balanced annotation. And this at load balanced annotation is coming from the client load balancer, so that we can be able to ensure that all our requests are load balanced between the instances of the department service which might be running. Alright, so let's see how that one is going to be. Okay, so it's restarted. Now let's see that if we can be able to make a successful call. Alright, it's registered. We just try to confirm by invoking the actual endpoint to the employees. It's still not yet up, ready. So we are waiting for the API gateway to fetch the new information about the status of our service. You can see that it takes a few seconds or minutes to register fully. So waiting for it. Yeah, now you can see that it has been able to register. Just wanted to show you that whenever you just need to give it a few, or maybe a minute or two, to ensure that it's able to fetch the new information. Now you can see that now we are passing our request through the API gateway and going to the employee service using the port 7000. Now let's see, if we make the call to the get list of employees, you can see now we are able to make a successful call. And that is by just introducing the annotation of load balanced. Now let me just show you how the rest can be changed. So for this other one, for the rest template, you don't need any builder. So you just need to introduce at load balanced here, annotation. And then for the web client, we also need to, we have a builder. So we are going to introduce builder. And then it's going to be web client builder. Right? And that will be able to to automatically load balance our request, so we need to introduce the at load balanced notation here, so that we can know how to make the successful calls. So quickly, I'm going just again, I know it won't work, it won't run because we have the web client being not available, so we need to change here the injection to be web client.builder, and in this case we are going to have web client builder, and that is what we are going to inject and make use of it, right? So you can be able to confirm that our other endpoints are actually working by running the services. Okay, so by running the services or maybe uncommenting, so I'm going to copy this and put it here as the web client builder. Now with that, I need to also adjust where I'm using the web client builder, so it needs to be web client builder that way .build. So that's how you'll be able to load balance between two target servers. So you can see now all these solutions should be able to work. Now let me restart the service in full capacity by shutting down and now creating the beans once again. So if you want to test, you can just uncomment solution 1 and comment solution 2. Now you are going just to uncomment that and show you. We are going to uncomment and confirm that ideally the web client is also able to make the calls, right? And also the REST template. So let's just quickly do that and we can be able to confirm. Now what I'm going to do is just first confirm that we want to start uncommenting. So I'm going just to comment solution 2 of making the calls by batch, and I'm going to uncomment these 2 lines here, right? So this one is going to make the call to set information individual calls, and with that I'm going to start with making use of REST client. Already we have seen that, so let me just make use of REST template by uncommenting this line 125. Now save that, and we are going to see that if the REST template is also able to make now the call using the new value of from the config server where we are referring to the department service instances. Alright, so quickly I'm going to make the call once again. Let me just confirm, make the call, it's not yet available. We can just wait for the API gateway to fetch the configuration. You can see that it didn't find the employee service. So if I make the call once again, it's not yet ready to fetch. It's not aware of the employee service still, so we can give it a minute to have that one done, right? So now you can see that now we have one of the errors being thrown, which is ideal department with ID 1 does not exist. Now let's see, if we fetch all the employees, I think we have an employee with a department 1, alright? So you can see that we have department 2, department 3, department 1, right? Now we go to the department service and try to make the call. So we need to run the same way, so I'm going just to drag this one here. Now we need to make the API gateway to make the call to the department service. Let's try to get the department with ID 1 and confirm that ideally that is the issue that you are facing. You can see that also this one is having department with ID 1 does not exist, and that is because our employees information is having a department ID which is not available on this other side. Now that is an issue which comes with microservices whenever you because there's no constraints between the first database is not aware of the second database. They rely on this particular flow of calls in terms of REST calls to check the information of the other. So sometimes you can find that a certain resource has been deleted on the other side, which is not yet updated on this other side. So that is one of the challenges of microservices in terms of using different databases. But then for now, you can see that we were trying to make the call. So I'm going just to drop that employee with ID with that particular ID so that you can be able to confirm if the rest are okay. So I might just to list once again the employees and check which particular employee is linked to department 1. So I might just to delete employee number 3 and 4. So in this case, I'm going to delete employee number 3. Alright. So I'm going to delete employee number 3, send the request, success, and the employee number 4, send the request, success. Right, now let me just create the other additional employees, and I'm going to make use of department 2, send the request, and you can see that you have been able to create that. Now let's see if we make the call now and check on the employee service login here. We're going to see what is the call that you are making. So let me make that call. You can see that you are making 3 calls via the REST template. Right? So you can see that all of that is giving us data. Now let's see if I uncomment and we make use of the web client. So I'm going just to uncomment this one and now comment the first one, whereby you're making use of the REST client. So with that, I'm going to restart and make the call just to confirm that the REST client is the web client is also working fine. All right. So let me wait for it to come up. So send request. You can see now you're able to make the call via the web client, and that is within our log because we are making a call for each particular employee, right? And we are able to get the information back. So that's all about service to service calls and load balancing. And remember, within the API gateway also, you need also to indicate the LB whenever you are using services by name, right? So you need to ensure that they are load balanced within this one. This can be an actual URL that you want to call, all right? It can be an actual URL that you want to call, but then at the same time, remember that you can make use of the LB to denote that you are load balancing the employee service instances. Alright, so that's all about load balancing and service to service call. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Show me some love by liking the video, commenting, and also sharing with your team members and also your friends so that they can able to learn the same thing, and let them subscribe to our channel so that we can grow as a community. Thank you. Till next time. Bye bye.